When I came here in '93, we had snow on the ground.
Many people have a place that they call home that isn't necessarily where they grew up. For some, Duluth is that place. It's become that home. They say home is where the heart is. But for people that have moved to Duluth, it's where the memory is. The memory of the first day they moved to Duluth, they moved home.
I think this is some number of years ago, like maybe 12 years ago. We moved to Duluth because we were just ready. Because Duluth is lovely. So Duluth is awesome in so many ways. Has kind of our criteria for a town. It has lots of good fresh air. It has a university culture, and then it has the equivalent of dirt roads.
I took the steam locomotive passenger train from Kettle River, Minnesota to the Sioux Line Depot in Duluth here. And I came with my mother. I moved up here in 1965.
When we first drove in here, I had grown up all my life in Anchorage, but then I lived in Madison for a year in between, and I was like, this reminds me of home.
The first day I was in Duluth, my boyfriend introduced me to a couple of his friends, and we went on a walk in Canal Park. We had dinner out on the patio until the sun went down, and then I saw the skyline of the lake, the lights reflecting, and it was just gorgeous. And I was breathtaking and sold right there. I was like, okay, I'm moving to Duluth. There's no question.
Moved here 14 years ago. Well, I had a choice of moving to two places. One was Fresno, California. Not really exciting. The other was Duluth, Minnesota.
The day that I actually first moved to Duluth, it started in Alexandria, Minnesota. I really wanted to get here as fast as possible, so it was me and my girlfriend at the time. We drove from Alexandria to Duluth, and I've been to Duluth many times, but coming in on 35, knowing that I was going to be staying here, it was kind of a whole different feeling. Always loved this city. And it was just a real sense of satisfaction.
I came here because my wife had moved here earlier and it was for employment. I remember we moved into a house on June 1st, 1995, and I couldn't understand why all the windows were all sealed up. And I thought, gee, these crazy people that we bought from, must be something wrong with them. But as soon as we went to bed and it got cold, we realized why the windows were still shut on June 1st.
I've been here for almost 3 years now. I moved in November of '09.
I would move from Indiana. I remember going through Chicago, and it took 7 hours to get through Chicago because of the snow. When we got here, the moving van got stuck on one of the hills just a block away from where we were moving, and we had to just leave it there until morning and we could dig it out. It was tortuous. It was an amazing trip, but we made it. We made it.
I moved to Duluth for school, but I've been coming up here all my life because I have family here. So Duluth really colors my childhood.
So I knew it was a beautiful city with an amazing river and a big lake. I remember the first time coming into Duluth, coming down Thompson Hill on 35 and seeing the High Bridge, and it was just amazing, beautiful.
What makes a place a home? It's the differences, the unexpected things, the excitement of a new adventure that makes a place stand out. The memory of a first impression, of first sights, of a first bed, is what draws a person to a place, a home like Duluth.
It's kind of cute. We had the wagon train of like moving vans and all manner of uncles and aunties and siblings and grandmas and grandpas and hauling in couches and all that stuff.
We drove around looking for a place to live. It was 5 years ago now.
I brought my family up here. I brought my daughter up here to raise her. Sort of bring back childhood memories of Jersey. When we had snow on the ground, going to school and all that. It's just like basically going back in time. Living out Midwest is kind of, unusual for a person from Jersey because they got a lot of different ways of doing stuff. Like we call it soda, you guys call it pop.
And so that was okay. And I just remember unpacking. I remember taking the moving van and dropping it off and having my first meal at a Chinese restaurant in West Duluth. It just felt nice.
When we actually wanted to move in, we went garage sailing, and
it's like a little mom and pop's world around here. What you call Lake Superior. Well, I would call it a pond.
First impressions were it's a beautiful place. The scenery is great. The presence of the lake is fantastic.
Managed to find a bed for free on somebody's lawn that was just a really nice bed.
It's totally different than being on the East Coast.
Weird, subtle things like the way they did street signs. So I felt at home here right away.
I just remember being really excited about exploring those woods and, I don't know, making them a part of my new life. I remember my dad making me carry a pocket knife with me because of the bears. He was afraid that something would happen to me, or maybe he just did it to make me aware of what I was getting myself into.
Just the differences between where I lived before down in the Twin Cities and up here. The lake, the waves, the storms, the moonrise on the lake, kind of the almost looks like diamonds, you know, out on the water, kind of just beautiful.
I like how old it is. I'm a history guy. It's cool to be in a historical town with a lot going on, and just culturally. Duluth's one of the better places you can be in the Midwest.
Yeah, I was excited to be here. It seemed like just a really nice city.
It's my last thought of coming here is like, what's it going to be actually like? What's the people going to be like? What's waiting for me in a new adventure? That's what it is, a new adventure. If you move up here, it's a new way of life. You have to adjust to it. You got to look at it like it's a new adventure to everybody.
So it was more like Anchorage than Madison was, which I really liked.
Oh, I've been here for a long time and I intend to stay.
You know, I actually remember I had gone to Sir Ben's and I was sitting outside by myself with my dog and on their patio that overlooks the lake. I was so happy to be here in a city where there's so much going on, and I was really excited to meet new people and just content.